Here with myself, Brother Godson.
Yes, hi, welcome.
Hello, welcome everybody to the FMC IT class. I'm here with Brother Godson.
Yes, hi.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And we're here to have another session. And this is going to be a recap of what we've done over the past 3 weeks. Well, 3 sessions, I should say, rather. Okay, so we'll just continue. I know we've got quite a few things to do, and it's going to be questions and answers. So if there's any questions that you do have while we're going through the recap, feel free to write it in the chat section, and we'll be able to answer as we go along. God bless you. Right, thank you, Sister Aisha. There's the slides, please. Right, okay, so we're just going to go through the different sessions that we've had. So mainly looking at Word and Excel. So this is Word, first of all. So just as a recap, what we did last time. So we'll move on. Next slide, please. Okay, so as we saw previously, Word is Microsoft's online tool that's used to write documents, letters, memos, reports, etc. So we use it for actually writing documentation. So it's called word processing. And it does things like proofreading. It can do like grammatical checks and spelling, and it can just so basically your document will be professionally written, and you can actually make sure that by the time you send that document out, you can be assured that it is grammatically correct as well as spelling correct as well. Okay, so it does things like that for you. You can also use it to do like nice presentations, and you can embed documents, embed images, and make it look really beautiful and nice to behold. So that's what we do with Word. Next slide, please. Okay, last time around we talked about how to launch Word. So Word, so basically you can launch it because it's a program within your computer. So you just click on the Word icon, as you can see there. You can show us by doing the same thing. We've already got it open actually. So if I close that and minimize that, so you can see here I've got Word on my desktop here. Double click on that would now launch Word, as you can see, and clicking on a blank document, and you can see here I'm now ready to type. So I can type anything, as you can see, and you can format it. We did things like formatting. So if I do that, and you can change it to bold, for instance. You can change the fonts, make it bigger. You can actually change the different the font type. So you can change what it. So the font type basically just means how it will be typed on the document itself. So as you go down, you can see it changes the fonts. Okay. So if I click on maybe this one here, you can see it's actually a different type of font face. You can make it larger or smaller, as the case may be. Yeah, it's larger. You can make it smaller. So yeah. So that's the sort of things we looked at last time. So going back to the presentation. Okay, so we looked at templates. Okay, so templates are basically Microsoft's built-in templates you can use to create or jumpstart a particular task. So for instance, you can have templates for creating a CV, you can have templates for creating a memo or a letter, you can have templates for all sorts. There's some that come inbuilt, and also there's some that you can actually download from the internet. So if I click on file here, I should look to see your templates. More templates here, so you can see some of them here. So like these are templates up here. So you got blank, cat sitter, take a tour. These are the ones that come with Microsoft. If I click on that, for instance, you can see here So for instance, this is like a resume, okay, like a CV. I click on that template there. I click on create. It will download it, and you will see it will just create. There you go. So with this template here, you can see you can just modify it, put your name there. Yeah, put past, okay. Okay, you can put your profession, industry. So it's already created the layout for you. So you don't need to mod. All you need to do is fill in your own document, your own qualifications, your own personal details, and that way it looks like you submit it. Nobody will know that you didn't design it yourself. So it helps to do the design for you. That's what that does. Okay, so that's what templates are. They're like shortcuts to get into the end of, to finish and finalize your document that you want to do. Okay, or whatever you want to present. Okay, so that's what that does. There are other ones as well. You can choose others. See if there's something further down. You can do reports, you can do certificates, you can do invitations. Like here, someone's got like a party invitation. If you click on that, you can download a party flyer. So instead of you having to design your own flyer, you could actually design, use this as a starting point. Right, still trying to download. I think the internet's quite low here. Yeah, so I'll stop this for now. It's taking a while. So yeah, so basically that's what it is. It enables you to start or like almost like part. It's like part baked. You can use any template you want to use and use it to create what you're looking for. So you can do calendars and whatnot. So there are all sorts of things you can do with templates. So going back to the outline, the presentation, sorry. Okay. Right, so what we looked at again was looking at the layout itself. So we explained, when you go into words, if I go into Word again, a blank one. So we talked about, file, how you save as, how you can save a document. We talked about, in here, the different formatting you could use, which we saw here. The different formatting, and also like numbering. So you can actually do like numbers. For instance, if I do that, type something, it gives you number 2, and you go along here. Underlining, making it bold. So you can make that bold. So underline it, as the case may be. You can change the font color. You can make it blue, for instance. There's all sorts you can do with that. So we talked about that last time. Back to this. Okay, so we talked about the general layout on how to format, how to modify your document, and you can do that through these they're called the ribbons here at the top menu bar.
Yeah.
Okay, next slide, please. Okay, so we talked about menus. We looked at the menus itself. So the home, insert. Looking at all these, which I explained before. Next slide, please.
Yeah, for Word, that's it.
Okay, that's it for Word. Okay, so we've come to the end of the Word one. So let's say it's just a recap of what we've done before. And if there's any questions, please feel free to send it on the actual chat area. Okay, and we'll be able to pick up on that and answer in due course. But in the meanwhile, we'll continue with the Excel. Okay.
Yes. So the next one is on Excel. So as first I say, this is all about recap. So we've done 2 classes on Excel. We did a first class. So the first one was just to gets to basic understanding of Excel. So what we looked at the ribbons, mostly focus on the home button. We also look at formatting, the different type of way of formatting. So what we're going to do is just to go through it again and just to recap a little bit. So next slide, please. So as this says, so we're going to be dealing with Microsoft Excel, and this will be this illustration is a demo process. So Excel is part of what you get as part of the package with the Microsoft 365 subscription. So you have that already when you buy your computer or your laptop, or for those who are using an iPad, you probably have to download it. If you also on your phone, you probably have to download it as well. But once you download it, it's going to look something like that. So you have to sign in to Office 365, enter your details. And so next slide, please. Okay, so similar to what we talked about, the Pastor demonstrated is when you log onto your system, so you can see there are various ways to get the app to open on your laptop or your desktop, whatever you're using. So you either use what we have. So if I quickly go back, minimize all this, and
Yes, come on.
close this. So you can either go through. There are a lot of ways to go through it. So one, as you can see here, we can go through the start menu, and we got Excel here already. We can also type it here. So if you type Excel, it will also come out. So thanks, Pastor. So as you can see now, the app is here already as well. We can also do through Container by speaking to it. So you can actually talk to your laptop. For those who have that feature, you can do that. Or here at the taskbar, we already got it here pinned. So we can also, so if I click here now, it's already open. So previously we just opened it already. So this is how it looks like. So this is how your Excel looks like. So you got different, so here we call this A is called column. Then one is called row. So we got column A, column B, column C, then you got row 1, 2, 3, and to infinity, although there's not, but it goes down to as many as you can. So don't worry about it. So as well as here, we also have what we call, so this is like a tab or a ribbon you can put it here. So sheet 1 allows, but we can have as many sheets open. So we're going to go through that as well. So just wanted to recap. So this is how it looks like. So if we go back to our slide. So next slide, please. Yeah. Okay. So as I mentioned earlier on, so we got a column, so which from the top, so it goes down, and the rows, so the A, B, C, D. So again, if you use the alphabetical order, so that gives us the columns. Then we go through the numeric side of it on the left-hand side. So that's our row. As I also mentioned again, we have our sheets, so worksheets. So we can have as many as you can. So you can create it as highlighted here, so we can have as many as we want. So again, what it says, the rows and columns in the Microsoft Excel are, so basically, so we got a worksheet and a workbook. So for example, if I go back again to our demo, so this is our worksheet, but the whole of this is our workbook. So you got here book 1, so you can have many Excel open, so you got book 2. So under book 1, we have different worksheets that we can create. So that's how it looks like. Okay. So back to the next slide, please. Okay, so what we're going to do, I'm going to spend a little small time, a little bit, is just to talk about formatting and just to recap as we did earlier on. Again, we can see, so the format cells or so it's kind of used to apply different formatting. We can also use for specific, to collect specific data type. We define rows and columns. For example, we can create a column header like dates. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to quickly recap that a little bit. So we'll might have gone through that in the previous a little bit too quick. So again, if you remember, A is our column. So and I'm going to choose column A, row 1. So format. So if we do today's date is 23/5/2001. Okay, so that's our date format. But we can have different formats. We can choose to have it in a different way. For example, we can highlight, go to format cell. So there are different ways to that. We can change the pattern. We can change it to something like this. So we have the date, the months specified, and the year as well. So you can have as many as you want. So depending on what you have. So it's important to do that. So there are various ways of going to do the format. So you can either click on what I did, which is right click on your mouse. So if you can highlight it, and we do right click. Okay. And if you go there, it says format cell at the bottom. So we can go through that. We can also do various ways as well. So we tried to do, I don't know if we use shortcuts for them. No. Okay, we didn't. So I'm not going to spend too much. But yeah, when you go on right click on that, so that will come up. So that's a way to format it. Another thing we can do is we can select, say we want a header, one name. So we did that in the previous. So we can call one column B, row 3. We can just try to populate something, and we'll just probably call amounts. So we can just say John, Mary. Now we can give them like £7 and £12. So you can see here now we already started making up a table. So we can format it to make it look pretty and also identify. So basically we're saying John 7. We don't know whether it's dollars or pounds. We don't know the currency. So although we specify on top that it's an amount, so we know that this is not a value, but this is an amount of currency. So what we can do is we can highlight that. Again, come in using your right click on your mouse or your iPad or whatever you're using. Click on formats, and it gives us currency here by default because we're in the UK.
Yeah,
it's already in pounds. So if you're in whatever your country are, they'll probably try to reset it. But mostly if you're in some of the Western countries, so it will be automatically reset to where you bought the laptop from. But you can change it to wherever. Identify the decimal places, so put it whatever you want. So that's fine. 2 decimal places fine with us. And we can format that and say, okay. All right. So that's now tells us that the amount is £7 for John, and we now know the currencies there as well. So what we can do as well is if we highlight that, and we can now format it to see how, okay, we want to like, okay, right now it's not looking tidy, but we want to tidy it up. So we can, again, you can click there, or if you use our formatting table right on the home button, so we can now put our pattern and borders, and so we can now make it look okay. So there are various ways, but this is also another simple way of going. Just go there, click on the borders. We can put borders in it. We can also make this headed as well. So they have various ways to make it, so we can put it bold. So there is another way of doing it. So that's another way of formatting our table, that we can now see the names, the amounts. So we have the currency amounts, and also whoever it is, the name of the person. So we can have as many as that, and we can also put that into that. So we can format either currency, and we can also change this. So for example, we can change that to whatever you want. When you go to your format, you have its time, dates, so what that is. So you can also customize it where it depends on what you have. It's not listed here. You can do that. So, for example, one thing we haven't talked about. Okay, we want to know the total of both John and Mary. So we can have that. We put our equals to that we deal with in our second question. And sorry, that should have. So if I've done it right, so to be formatted this way.
Yeah, just pressing that.
Yeah. So that gives us, now we know that the total for both of them is £19. So that's a way of formatting, another way we can do that. Okay. So if we go back to our slide, so that tells us a little bit on formatting. So we dealt with dates, which we mentioned earlier on. As you can see here, so there are different ways of formatting it. So we have 3 different dates, the same dates, but 3 different ways to represent them. So that's what we have done there. Okay, next slide, please. Okay.
Did you finish?
No, we should have gone to the next one. Next slide. Okay, so I think maybe that's the end of that one. So again, you can see the formatting different ways. So if I go back to the demo, to show the demo, so we can see how we can format these ways, or the different way we can format our table. So one thing we want to know is that the top bit we have here. So going downward is column, going sideways is rows. So we can actually say, okay, like now I want to make the total to be in D, column D, row 8. We can do that as well. So it's basically, if we put that equals to, we want the sum of, then we choose the numbers. So you can either put plus or comma. Yeah. Then we want C5 and close the brackets. So that gives us a total in column D8. So you can do, again, once you set your table up, you can decide where you want your total to be. But what we're trying to do is that the cells, and we can move it again. So if you want to move this number to come down here, you can do that as well. But what this tells us, as you can see, once you click on the cell tells you the number. So that E8. So basically column E, row 8. So that's what it says. Pastor, do you have anything to add on this one?
I think just as you said, the formatting there is, it helps you to represent your document or your spreadsheet in this case. Makes it look more readable. Like you can see here, we've got the name in bold, so we know that's a title. And using the summation button here, which is what we had here, also some enables you to do the calculation. So there's different things we can do. You can even do, say for instance, if this was minus 7, if I put a minus in front of it, you can see that the total changes. So it actually does subtraction for you. Okay, so that's very handy method, especially if you're doing like things like maybe practical uses. Things like maybe you're doing your budget, or you want to do, you can have a list of items you want to buy from the shops, and you can allocate costs to them, so you can see roughly what is just like a receipt. You can use it to do that. So it's got very good uses that you could use to enable you to be effective. So yeah.
pick us up. Yeah, so we're live.
Right, sorry, we had a slight technical issue. Okay, so we're going to be streaming the slide for the next, so this is for Excel part 2, yeah. Okay. Right, okay, as you can see, Excel part 2. So in this one, we just took it further from where we left off with the previous copy of, well, previous lesson. Next slide, please. Right, okay, so again, one of the key things, one of the core benefits of Excel is that it's a good program that enables you to do analysis, documentation, charts, graphs, and many more, as you can see here on the screen. So it's a good way to represent data. Okay, so you have data and you can represent it pictorially by having bar charts, by having graphs, by having pie charts, and it's a good way to represent information that you have. Next slide, please. Right, okay, so one of the things that we looked at last time was conditional formatting. Okay, so so we had that there last time. So with conditional formatting, if you remember, using colors to depict the formatting. So for instance, you could have, like we got here, there was some data you can see here. So we got James, Ola, Dennis, Rachel, Choma, Michael, John, and you can see the amounts here: 4, 5, 6, 18, 3, 22, and 57. Okay, and when we looked on the other side, you can see here you now have different colors. Okay, so that the reason that we have different colors is that there's something called conditional formatting that enables you to have different colors representing different numbers. So for instance, you can have something like, if it's over a specific number, then use another color for it. So that way it's clear, it's easier for you to pick up and know, okay, so if, for instance, if you're looking at a spreadsheet with maybe, I don't know, 100 rows, and in that spreadsheet, different numbers, and you want to pick out the ones that are just like, maybe under 50, for instance, you can just look at it straight away, because then all the colors, maybe say if it's under 50, just make it red, it will just highlight straight away. So you can see straight away from just looking at your spreadsheet, these are the ones that I need to pick from. So that's what conditional conditional formatting does. Okay, so I think do we have that?
Yeah, I don't think we saw.
Did we have it? Let's see.
No,
we
didn't have it.
Okay. All right, we were thinking of looking at it. Do you want to try?
Okay. So as Pastor mentioned, so it's conditional formatting. So now we can just use these numbers that we have here. So if we highlight them, and we just go to conditional formatting on the right, and using our ribbons. So we can now say by all sets. So we can choose different type of traffic. So if we do by traffic, so as you can see here, so these two are way below. So if I put, maybe we can say maybe 4, 2, 6. Yeah. So you can see that is in between. It's in the middle compared to these two lower. So as also said, again, we can differentiate. So this is like a traffic system. So what we have, the green one, the higher ones are green.
Yeah.
The middle ones are yellow, and the lower ones are red. So if we want to take anything below 50 or below 100 in this case, are red. Anything above 100 to maybe 500, falling to the yellows, so which is in the middle. And anything above 500 to 900 or 1,000 is green. So you can use that to differentiate. So that is quite useful in different areas. Pastor mentioned, we can look at our budget. If we decide to do a budget and we set up a budget, we want to know when we're going red, when there's nothing in the budget. So we can say, okay, if our this says 100, below 100 pounds, so we need to start thinking, Then maybe 100, our budget is 500 in a month. So 200 and above that, okay, it's fine, we're okay, but we need to start looking at it. So what the yellow now tells us is to, okay, keep an eye, we're getting towards there, but once we're in red, we're in red. And green means, okay, it's fine, we're in a good place. So you can use those kind of things to remind yourself. There are various ways that you can use it to do. So there's other things you can do as well. Again, you can also use it for the days of during the week as well. If you want to have a particular day you want to do during the days as well, we can set that. You can set that up. Maybe Tuesday is the day you're busy, and you want to remind yourself so that you don't book yourself. You know, so you have that Monday might be a free days or Saturdays or whatever it is. So you can do that as well. And Wednesday is maybe when you might be flexible during midday. Wednesday, Thursday, midweek. One can be flexible, so you can do that as well. So this is what the conditional formatting does. So it's easy to put in, so you can choose whatever you want, how you want to do the formatting. Again, sorry if I can highlight. Then you can choose whatever you want. So there are color coding. If you want to use the icon, we can use icons as well. As you can see, they're all coming up. So it tells us which one is up and down. So you can add icons as well. You can use traffic system if you want to, or yeah, you can use a proper traffic system. So you want to like put it in this way. So you can use that as well. So there are ways of doing it, which can be easy for us to understand. So that's what conditional formatting does. It's quite easy, but it makes it easier and structured for the eyes as well, because you can pick it up quickly. As Pastor mentioned, we had about 1,000 data sets, and you need to pick out which ones are bad, which ones are good, or which one
you can easily pick it up.
It's easy to pick it up.
I was just thinking of some practical applications while you were talking, and I was thinking something like, say for instance, if somebody wants to do their maybe for health wise, maybe blood pressure readings. You know, maybe you have a spreadsheet with blood pressure readings from, you know, daily, for maybe a doctor said you need to do that, and you can use conditional formatting to see, if you just put in the numbers, you can now set the different ranges, and you know clearly if this one's over this a certain rate, you say, okay, this one is high, this one is low, this one is okay, you know. So you just by looking at it, you know, so instead of having to go through each single line for the month, you can just look at the month and see how many times you went over the limit and stuff, or even for diet or something like that. So it's, you can see there's really good use cases that you could use to be able to use conditional formatting. Okay, right. Okay, so and the next, we go to the next slide, please. And again, as I said, if you have any questions, just feel free to do that as we go along. Right, next slide, please. Okay, and so these are some of the other functions that we looked at last time. Okay, so some of the some of the functions. So what Excel enables you to do, you can do things like add, as you can see, subtract, you can multiply, you can divide, you can do the summation, you can do the min, the max, count, counter, average, median, concatenate, and these are some. Obviously, it's not limited to this. There are many, many more. But these are some that we picked out last time, and we just showed different examples as to how you could do these, you know, with it. So, so I think the key thing is understanding that with Excel, there's so much versatility that you can incorporate into it, and you can use it to bring out, well, information. You can represent your spreadsheets, the information on the spreadsheet. Someone can just look at it, just by just looking at the spreadsheet, they have a lot of information there by just using these functions and formula that's available. Okay, right. Okay, I think we did that last time.
Yeah, we did that last time.
Yeah, so
I think as Pastor mentioned, as he said, so it's quite useful. So those are the key functions that you can use at the moment. So even I think the previous slide, we also, I think the previous lesson when we did addition and subtraction.
Yeah.
So that's already, it's very easy to use that already. So the day-to-day, those are the and that is something that we'll look on later stage.
That's right.
To cover that, but not now. At the moment, we're just dealing with the basic,
intermediate,
intermediate level of understanding what is Zell, and so you can open it, understand how to use it now, and how to, as Pastor mentioned earlier, on our daily tasks. So there are things like the blood pressure, what you can start doing right now, even if you want to start practicing, or how you can practice that and use it to your day-to-day advantage, and it makes it much easier.
Absolutely.
There are things, so instead of writing down on a piece of paper, you can have better trace accountability of, I got it on Excel, let me pick it up, let me document it properly. So yeah, and also Microsoft Word as well.
Yes, yeah, definitely. I think it's as I said, it's a recap. So we're not going into every single detail, but just for us to rejig our memory and to remember what we did last 3 sessions, and the benefits of these systems. So as my brother mentioned, there are others. There's much more, but this we can cover in later classes, which we look at more advanced stuff. But for now, if you have any questions, please feel free to write or send it through. Something you want to ask or you're not sure about, let us know. And if not now, if there's a way you can send a message to emails.
Onto the emails. So we have this FMC IT demo.
Class demo. Hold on.
Yeah, class demo.
Get the right one.
And it's a long one. So what we might do is we might see if we can put that on the.
So we have it here.
Yeah. So yeah.
Yeah, so it's FMC IT class demo at faithmiraclechurch.org.uk. Okay, so
it's slightly long, but if you can just type FMC as Pastor said, then IT, then class demo. It doesn't have to be lower cases, that's fine, or upper cases, that's fine. And you can explain.
Put it on here.
Okay.
You can get it from here.
Yeah. Yeah. So we'll leave that on the platform, and so you can send your emails and even previous classes as well.
Put that up there.
Yeah. So you can send your emails and your previous students. Okay.
Where's Bachman? I think he went to go back to the. I went back to the Netgear one. That's right.
Okay.
All right. Okay. So as I said, we've got the email addresses too, and we'll be able to respond to you as soon as possible. But on this note, we would like to say thank you for your time and your presence, and I'm sure that you were it's very informative. And so we'll see you again next time. God bless you. Have a wonderful week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.